to our little long-term sim ultra realism college football dynasty with Madden coming in 2 days. I wanted to get the third draft class done so we can really start to see these guys as soon as possible in the pros. So we're going into year 4. This is the draft class after year 3, so this would be the college football class of 2028. And we're just going to go over a quick rundown of first the top stats leaders among all players, not just players that are leaving and not just players that are returning. And then we're going to go over the top draft prospects at each position. Starting off with passing, Dylan Raiola had a Joe Burrow. This is better. This is better than 2019 Joe Burrow. He had 64 passing touchdowns. That's 22 more than redshirt freshman Josh Ivy, who looks really good, by the way, at North Texas. I think he's going to be a top pick when his time comes around. Anyways, you're looking at Dylan Raiola for passing yards, Dylan Raiola for completion percentage, Dylan Raiola for passing touchdowns, and touchdown percentage. Interceptions was Steele Pizzella from Wake Forest, who was probably the worst starting. Never mind. Tavarius Hendershot was the worst starting quarterback in all of college football with just 9 passing touchdowns and 17 interceptions in the 8 games he started. Touchdown to interception ratio was Dylan Raiola. Yards per attempt was Eli Holstein, our own. In rushing, leading in yards was Leo Pulalasi from Washington State. This guy's an interesting player, and I think he's really good. The elusive bruiser has gotten better each year, and just in the past 2 years combined, he's got over 3,000 rushing yards. And he's not a bad receiving back either. Had 22 all-purpose touchdowns at Wazoo. Might just be the best. Yeah, he's the best running back they've ever had out of that program. Peyton Lewis at Michigan is the undisputed #1 running back in the class. Jordan Davidson's a close #2. Wide receiver Micah Hudson is here. Dylan Raiola and Micah Hudson were the top 2 players in the transfer portal last offseason. They both went to Ohio State, and now they're going to be the top 2 draft prospects this season because Micah Hudson is an absolute beast. Landon Rolden, as a redshirt freshman, he did this, and then as a redshirt sophomore, he did this. He's going to be off to the NFL and will be a first-round pick. Stephen Goss, just a freshman at Kennesaw State, went off. And then some younger guys here as well, like Jamian Little from Kent State, I believe is entering the transfer portal. He will go to a larger school. Malik Leverett is going to be a top pick in the NFL. Kennesaw State, just an absolute passing powerhouse right now. Dallas Wilson, I did not see entering the draft. So I think he's coming back for another season. Blocking, it was Darrell Irving from Kennesaw State, tied with Haston Crawford, his teammate with the most snaps. Defensively, yeah, it looks like the most tackles was a tie between Iosefa Fanica from Boise State and Mark Britton from the Western Michigan. Sorry. Sacks, I believe we already went over this. It was Sammy Brown who had an insane year. But then there was also Terrence Green, who's going to be a top pick. Terrence Green might be the #1, like the #2 overall pick. Edric Houston's going to be up there. What's up, Hollywood? As for underclassmen, Jared Martin put up 14 sacks at Tulane. Stephen Green was also very good. He's going to be a top D tackle off the board. 89 overall at UAB is not something you see very often. Blake Purchase, the Sam linebacker, the thumper, 6'3", 262, put up 12 and a half sacks. How am I? I'm doing pretty good. Doing decent. Carrington Lee, 15 sacks. My goodness. 17 and a half for Jaden Woods, and he's just a sophomore. 29 TFLs. Um, Zayden Walker, we know he sacked us like 3 times. He was an absolute dog. He's going to be a top pick. David Stone, same thing. Elijah Griffin, oh my God. Elijah Griffin, Edric Houston, and Terrence Green are all going to be insane D tackles in the NFL. Terrence Green might just be the next Aaron Donald. But as for the actual draft prospects, we're going to go over every single the top prospects offensively at each position, starting off with the quarterback position, where there are 2 near generational prospects here. Dylan Raiola is the greatest quarterback prospect of all time. Plain and simple. 6'3", 235 from Buford, Georgia. He's got insane accuracy, crazy improvisational skills, 99 throw power, 90 jumping, crazy good football IQ, great elusiveness, 93 change of direction, 91 break sack. He's pretty quick, but look how much he can improve. He could legitimately be a Josh Allen type player from the get-go in the NFL. Physicals are all crazy. And then just looking at the stats, this guy was good at Nebraska, but he got to Ohio State and had the greatest individual season of all time. Like I said, this guy might just be the greatest college quarterback we've ever seen. He is the greatest NFL prospect at his position of all time. At the number 2 quarterback position, would be number 1 in most years, is the 6'6", 237 Austin Mack. He was the preseason favorite to be the number 1 overall pick. Because, oh my God, his throwing skills are out of this world. 97 medium accuracy, 99 short, 88 deep, 98 throw power, 76 strength, and he's pretty slow, very slow. But he is the best passer in the class, aside from Dylan Raiola. In his career at Boise State, 55 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions. The accuracy wasn't perfect, but he's also just huge. He is the perfect quarterback build at 6'6", 237. He is likely to be the number 2 overall pick. Then moving on to Dante Moore, another guy who has an absolute cannon for an arm, 6'3", 213. He is a dual threat as well. Moore, a 3-year starter at Oregon, even started a little bit his freshman year at Penn State. This guy was so consistent. All 3 seasons, he had over 30 touchdowns, less interceptions every year, got better on the ground each year, and exploded last year for 700 rushing yards and 8 scores. Only had 295 and 255 the years before that. Dante Moore is going to be a first-round pick. Then at number 4, Tavian St. Clair from BYU. He was a former Ohio State guy. Imagine this guy and Dylan Raiola in the same quarterback room. St. Clair, former 5-star in back-to-back seasons, was very good at BYU, led them to a playoff run this season. He's a good runner, 6'4", 235. And like I said, at BYU, 58 touchdowns to just 6 interceptions. I'd say he is a better player than Zach Wilson was, considering he led them to the playoffs. And might just be one of the best players in team history, the best quarterback to ever play at BYU. At number 5, you got Darian Mensah from Duke. This guy's got crazy experience. 4-year starter at the college football level, 6'3", 203, former 3-star prospect. Insane accuracy on this guy. He is pinpoint accurate. He's gotten better each year. Was great in his redshirt freshman year at Tulane. His redshirt sophomore year at Duke was not that great. He was not the reason they made the playoffs at 12-1 that year. Then the year after that, guess what? They were 12-1 again. He was very, very good, 24-2. And then this year was his true breakout season. 4,300 yards, 35 touchdowns, added 10 more rushing scores. It says he's a pocket passer, but he's got great rushing abilities. He with 8, 8, and 10 in the rushing touchdowns, 86 speed. Very, very good quarterback, very experienced here at number 5. And I think that's it for the guys with first round level talent. After that, it goes to Colton Joseph from LSU, if I can find him. Yeah, 32 touchdowns, 3 interceptions for Joseph this year. I don't know if he's a first rounder, but he's certainly an NFL caliber quarterback. At Old Dominion, this guy was just a run heavy scrambler guy, made a lot of mistakes, wasn't very accurate. Comes to LSU, and in 2 seasons, he has 64 passing touchdowns to 10 interceptions, adding 8 more rushing scores. He's a dual threat guy, smaller than a lot of these just absolute freaks at the top. He's only 6'2", 203. But on a not particularly good LSU team, 2 straight years, this guy just carried. At number 7 is going to be a guy who broke out this year finally. A guy I really like to break out in real life is C.J. Bailey. This guy is 6'6", 213, another just crazy build. Got some starting time as a true freshman, as a 3-star right out the gate. And never looked back. 4-year starter at NC State. He was horrible his sophomore year. Just struggled all around the board. They thought about replacing him. He thought about entering the transfer portal, decided to return, and a nice little season 2 years ago in 2026. But last year, 33 touchdowns, 4 picks. It all came together running the ball. He had 5 rushing scores, only had 1 in his whole career before that. He's going to be a top guy. Steve Angeli from Miami is a gunslinger out there. 40 touchdowns to just 4 picks a season ago for Angeli. He was a 4-star recruit. Sat on the bench at Notre Dame for a few seasons. Went to Syracuse, was solid there, and then went to Miami and was great. 73 touchdowns to just 10 picks in the 2 seasons he played there. Absolute beast. He's going to be a drafted guy. At number 9, we're very familiar with this guy. It's Marcel Reed. After a down year at Arkansas in 2026, Marcel Reed was so good this year. Actually, it wasn't even a down year. It was better than the year he had with us. But Marcel Reed was great this year. Threw for 4,000 yards, 7 rushing scores, and 31 passing scores. Was super accurate. But the thing is, he's small, 6'2", 188. This guy's going to get rocked if he doesn't put on a couple of pounds before reaching the NFL. I don't know if he'll ever be a starting level guy, but he'll get drafted. He's on a similar level as Matt Chadwick from, where am I going? From SMU. Chadwick, the transfer from Miami, 4-star recruit, sat behind Angeli and Carson Beck and Steve Angeli his last 2 years. This year came out of nowhere, threw for 5,000 yards, 34 and 7. He also ran for a lot and 4 scores on the ground, 6'2", 220. You take a look at his physicals, and he's a solid little player. 98 throw power, not the best, like that deep throw accuracy and football IQ throws me off. And you also look at this guy and see he's capped out. Like he's not going to be like a Brock Purdy or a Lamar Jackson or some of these guys that we've seen really improve their accuracy once reaching the NFL. Like Lamar, he had some really bad accuracy issues in college. Now he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. That's not what we're gonna see out of Matt Chadwick. He is what he is. Super senior, 5th-year guy from Indiana, but still, you look at the stats he put up in college, he's going to be a solid quarterback. And you know the roller coaster season SMU had. They had some huge upset victories, but they also had some pitiful losses. Matt Chadwick had an incredible game against Alabama, was the reason they won and upset the Crimson Tide early on in the season. He rounds out the list at number 10. At number 11, if he declares, is Deuce Knight from Tulane. Knight is really, really interesting because he is young, and unlike Matt Chadwick, he has a ton of room to improve. His accuracy is horrible. His throw power is great, and it's got a lot of room to improve. This guy, with one more year in college, he could win the Heisman. He could also still just be a good little player. That's what he's been at Auburn last year and this year at Tulane. He's only a redshirt sophomore, though, dual threat kind of guy, because we know he's great on the ground. Like, that's never been disputed. But, like, I think another year could benefit him. We don't know if he will actually leave for the draft or not. People that the projection is that he will, which is weird because I think he's just another year of college would really, really help him develop, fix his accuracy issues. Austin Simmons is here next. He had a rough start to his season. He was disappointing at Ole Miss his first 2 years. Not really disappointing, but just left something to be desired. He wasn't a good QB. Went over to Clemson, had his best year, I'd say. Still wasn't great. Started off the year dreadfully. But at 6'4", 218, he's a good runner, good throw power. He's still a good prospect here at number 12. At number 13 is Demond Williams from Texas. Williams, interesting because he only spent half a year with the Longhorns. Got injured halfway through the season and played well. Played better than he ever had at Washington. But the problem is, yeah, his accuracy really improved. It jumped up quite a bit, and he's still a great runner. The problem is, he's 5'11", 197. That is terrible. That's like Bryce Young size, and this guy is not Bryce Young throwing the ball. That's why I got him all the way down here, even though he was a super highly rated prospect, played well at Washington, played well at Texas with um, a good team around him. But the injury with the size, he's got to go down here at number 13. At number 14 is a guy who stepped up for half the season, and that's Kenny Minchey. Aaron Noland is going to be the number one quarterback in next year's draft. No doubt about it. He could have a very down year next year and still be the best guy in that draft because of what he did as a sophomore, redshirt sophomore at Tennessee. And then even last year in half a season, he was great. But Kenny Minchey looked very, very good in his place. While Aaron Noland missed the first 6 games of the season, Kenny Minchey was he was outstanding. 12 touchdowns to just 1 turnover through the air for Minchey, who transferred in from Notre Dame. He also started in reserve of an injured C.J. Carr in 2025 with the Irish. Looked pretty bad. Obviously, he was much more developed this season when he played. The thing about Minchey is you combine those 2 half seasons, he's got about 3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, completing just over 60% of his passes, and scoring 2 rushing touchdowns. That doesn't sound like a player that would get drafted. It's a solid player. It's not a player, a great player. My thing is the improvement over the 2 years since that in 2025 season at Notre Dame is crazy. If what we saw last year from Minchey is what we're going to get in the NFL, this guy deserves to play. I don't care that he was a backup. I don't care that he was just start. He only got playing time because Aaron Noland was injured, and he got benched right back again when Noland came back. He was great. Like put up Nick Foles level backup dominance. I got him at number 15 or number 14. At number 15 is Jabari Johnson from Wazoo. Again, very small guy, 5'11", 193, super low ceiling, not the greatest passer, not an NFL quarterback, but he's still got room to improve. Former 3-star recruit at Missouri, went to Oregon State, backed up there for a while, transfers to their arch rival Washington State, and this year came out of nowhere. He was a great runner and then added 4,000 passing yards and 35 touchdowns. He was great. And again, like I said, his accuracy still has room to improve. So I think he will be a guy who finds his way onto an NFL team this year. Some other notable prospects are our own Eli Holstein, Jacoby Robinson from Kansas, Dylan Lenurgeon from Boston College, Adam Matthews, the backup quarterback from Georgia, who led them through the playoffs to a national championship victory. Malachi Nelson from USC, Ashton Daniels from Ohio State, Pierce Clarkson from San Diego State, the guy I'm on right now, Ricky Collins from Virginia Tech, Ryan Brown from Purdue, and Ethan Schultz from Rutgers. The best running back in this year's class, and he's not Jordan Baugh, but I think he might be a better prospect than Mekhi Hughes. It's crazy that the running back who won the Heisman is the worst out of the three number one running back prospects. Peyton Lewis here was a one-year wonder. He only had 110 rushing yards on his career going into his senior season. He's not a good receiving back. He is a bruising running back, but oh my God, this guy missed time due to injury and still put up 1,600 rushing yards, 6.5 yards per carry, 29 touchdowns, 59 broken tackles, and just one fumble. That's 796 yards after contact. Peyton Lewis is a beast, and he's going to be a top pick. But don't forget about Jordan Davidson, who is the number 2. He is Peyton Lewis, but a little less proven, or actually more proven, but younger. 22 touchdowns, 24 the year before that. You look at that, Davidson's stats are almost better. And obviously you want to take the younger guy ahead. The thing is, Lewis was just so efficient last year, 6.5 yards per carry, whereas Davidson had 5.2 this year, 4.7 last year. He did fumble 3 times last year. And the yards after contact for Lewis is also better. I understand if you're picking Jordan Davidson. He's had back-to-back great seasons. He's 2 years younger than Lewis, more proven and younger. But I think Lewis just showed last year that he's the better player. On a worse team, he played better. And then at number 3, C.J. Baxter from Georgia, also known as Cedric Baxter Jr. Baxter was very good with the Bulldogs this season. Last year played at Florida State. The years before that, he was at Texas. Florida State last year was his best season, I think. 23 touchdowns. Actually, not really. He fumbled 3 times. Was more up and down, inconsistent. This year with Georgia, he was a lot more of a solid NFL player. 6'1", 234. Big fella. He will run you over. And obviously, he just got himself a national championship, so he's going to be a first-round pick. Jarrett Gibson, another former Texas running back, is here. 27 rushing scores with Virginia Tech last season. The thing about Gibson is he's really efficient as well. He played better last year than both Jordan Davidson and C.J. Baxter. But again, 5'10", 210, not as good size, also plays in the ACC. But yeah, he revived his career going to Virginia Tech. At number 5, rounding out the top 5, is Rashid Royster from Tennessee. 21 rushing scores, 6'3", 233. He will run you over. Just a former 3-star recruit, the elusive bruiser. He has room to improve with his speed. He's already not bad at 89. But here's a guy who has 30 career rushing touchdowns. He wasn't a non-factor in the receiving game. Usually bruising halfbacks don't get more than 200 yards receiving. He had almost 400 last season, as he was just 15 yards behind Darion Dupree for the rushing yards lead in the SEC. And then he was just 1 behind Daniel Hill for rushing touchdowns. At number 6 is Kedron Young from Notre Dame, another guy who is big. 5'11", 238, 28 rushing scores. My God, Kedron Young. Holy cow. He's got room to improve too. I almost like him over Royster. He's just less efficient. 1,300 rushing yards, 28 touchdowns, 5.1 per carry, 41 broken tackles. A good receiver as well. Had over 1,600 all-purpose yards. Was a finalist for the Walker. Was All-American. Great player. At number 7 is Hollywood Smothers from North Carolina. He started out at NC State. backstabbed him, went to play for Bill Belichick. The thing about Smothers is he's not a bruising halfback. He's a playmaker. 1,500 rushing yards last year, 5.6 per carry, 12 touchdowns, still had 52 broken tackles and 639 yards after contact. Didn't really play in 2026, but in 2025 with the Wolfpack, he just wasn't very efficient. 3.8 yards per carry, still put up 9 scores. This year was his big breakout season. And though I do see a lot more flaws than these first 6 guys, he's still a solid player. Some other guys to watch out for are Yassine Willis from Syracuse, Jamal Roberts from Iowa State, London Montgomery from ECU, Gideon Davidson from Clemson, Cam Cook from TCU, formerly of Texas, Jacksonville State, and TCU, transfer portal MVP right there. Harlem Berry from Texas, Sire Gaines from Boise State, Leo Pulalasi from Wazoo, Taylor Tatum from USC, Jason Ball from Louisville, Duke Watson from Auburn, Darion Dupree from Mississippi State, and Bryson Donaldson from Cal. At wide receiver, it's Micah Hudson is the guy you want to be looking at. He just had an insane season at Ohio State. I legitimately, I see Dylan Raiola, Micah Hudson, and Bodbigan Miller, and I immediately think of that 2019 Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. The fact that these guys did not take home a natty is crazy because they also had Edric Houston on defense. This was generally an insane team. The thing about Hudson is he's still got room to improve. His route running is amazing. His catching is 99, speed 94, excel 97. He's just an all-around great player. First 2 years at Texas Tech, he was a role player. Then broke out in year 3. Was the Red Raiders' best player. Was the number 1 ranked player in the transfer portal. Went to Ohio State, put up 1,700 yards, 13 touchdowns. Was the replacement for Jeremiah Smith and filled those shoes easily. He's going to be a top 5 pick. Number 2 is DeCorian Moore. We called him the next Jeremiah Smith 2 years ago. He had his worst year this season, but still was an insane player. The thing about DeCorian Moore is he is just a junior, and his hands can still have a lot of room to improve. He's very sure-handed already. Year 1, in that national championship run, he was their top receiver. Like we said, if he was eligible, he would have gone in the top 10. 1,200 receiving yards, 1,000 last year, 1,000 this year. From Duncanville High School, those guys just pump out NFL talent. He's going to be a top pick. And another star Oregon receiver in the NFL. We got guys like Troy Franklin, Tez Johnson, Evan Stewart, all in the last few years going into the NFL. And then even in previous seasons, you had what's his name? Yeah, Kyler Casper, that 6'6" beast going near the first round. At number 3 is going to be Landon Roldan from Georgia. We talked about him. Another underclassman, just a redshirt sophomore. Roldan led the SEC in receiving last year, and it wasn't even close. Last year, he was in the top 3 behind his teammate London Humphreys with 1,249. This guy was an absolute freak his 2 years that he played. He is going to be in the NFL, and he is going to be a, Cooper Kupp type ceiling guy. He's super speedy, decent enough hands. Actually, he's kind of I get it, he's white, but he's not the same as not the same as London Humphreys. He's not like Lad McConkey or any of these other white receivers that have come out of Georgia. He's quick. He will beat you with speed. And that is very, very valuable. At number 4 is KJ Duff from Rutgers. Oh my God, this guy's a freak. 6'6", 224. This guy's at Rutgers, and he's putting up these insane numbers. Former 3-star recruit. He makes crazy catches that nobody else can make. But mainly the reason he's here is his size. The stats were good. The physicals are good, but the size is great. He's bigger than some tight ends, and he's quick as well. At number 5 is Bodbigan Miller, 6'3", 184, or yeah, 6'3", 184. He's a slim, speedy receiver, just a redshirt sophomore. Had 19 receiving touchdowns last season, and yeah, this guy's a beast. He was target number 2 for Dylan Raiola. Came out of nowhere, only had 4 catches on his whole career going into last season, and he's got that ideal build. Like the dude is legitimately a great athlete. He's fast as heck. And he's one of the reasons that Dylan Raiola had such a breakout season. If I can find him again, we can look at his physicals. Because yeah, he's quick. He's got good hands. For a underclassman, like I'd like to see him have more room to improve, but I still think he's going to be a great player in the NFL. And at number 6 is a guy we know very, very well. It's Cordell Russell from Texas A&M, 6'4", 212. We saw this guy go from a solid player into a star this year for us. He truly became an absolute beast late in the season. When Mike Hawkins came in at quarterback, he still balled out. We got him from Miami, Ohio, and last season in Miami, Ohio, he was their top receiver. But he wasn't a great player. He was a low-end 4-star, high-end 3-star rated by some programs, a transfer. He was not at all getting the recognition that Micah Hudson, some of these other guys were getting. Comes over to us, puts up 1,300 yards, 12 receiving touchdowns. And the thing is, he beat guys with speed. At 6'4", 212, he had a 75-yard bomb that he took to the house multiple times. No, get out of here, Cole Adams. I'm going to talk about you soon. Cordell Russell. He is a step down in size from KJ Duff, but he is a step up in speed. 99 spec catch, 93 speed. I'm sorry. Like, what? What? That's actually insane. After that, other guys to look out for are Jamie French from Texas, Cole Adams from Oklahoma, Quishon Brown from Alabama, Braylon James from TCU, Mazio Bennett from Oregon, Terrell Anderson from NC State, Malik Leverett from Kennesaw State, Vernell Brown from Florida, who would have been a top 5 receiver in last year's class if he was eligible, and he missed all of this season due to injury. So he's down here at number 14. He is leaving for the draft, though. He's not coming back for another season. Cam Williams from Notre Dame, Nick Marsh from Michigan State, Cam Shanks from Alabama, our own Terry Bussey, Shamar Porter from Connecticut, and then Chris Lawson and Xavier Jordan, the wide receiver duo at USC. The top tight end in this rotation is Dorian Fleming from Florida. Taking a look at Fleming, he had a better season last year than he did this year, but he was still great. And the dude, like 91 overall, former 4-star recruit, he's got great hands, good route running, and everything has at least a little bit of room to improve, including his blocking and power. But yeah, we talk about last year on that national championship run where they made it all the way to the chip. He was good. And then before that, he was a 2-year starter in Maryland. So he's got the experience. He's got the upside. After that, it's Jamari Johnson from Oregon. Missed some time due to injury, so I won't find him. But the thing is, he's a good enough receiver. And at 6'5", 267, he is the best blocker at the position in college football. It's not even close. He was the highest rated player at the position going into the season. He's going to be a top drafted guy. Then Ty Washington from Notre Dame, Trey'Dez Green from Arkansas State, Luke Reynolds from Penn State, Ethan Davis from Tennessee, Mason Williams from North Texas, Shamar Easter also from Arkansas State, Luke Whitting from South Carolina, and Dorian Thomas from Arizona are some other guys to watch at the position. This year is a dreadful year for offensive line prospects. Like, I genuinely don't see anybody generational here. The top guys, Yeah, the top guy at that tackle is Bo Hewley, if I can find him. Is he not here? Yeah, here he is. Bo Hewley, 6'7", 300. Great prospect profile here. He's a great pass blocker now, great run blocker, and can get even better. Crazy strength. And yeah, like I said, he's young and he's got room to improve and improved a lot from last year to this year. Second is Antoine Knapp from Notre Dame. Third is our own Chase Basantis. Then Samson Okinola from Miami. Andrew Babalola from Michigan. And Elijah Page from USC. Just not a good group. Like, none of those guys are generational. At guard, there are some big guys, but none like crazy great. Number one is Connor Stroh from Texas, who missed some time due to injury. But when he did play, he was amazing. If I can find him. S. Am I really gonna have to go to Texas to find this guy? Uh, Blocking. Yeah, Connor Stroh played 9 games and looked amazing. 6'7", 356, and he's got so much room to improve run blocking wise. He's so strong as well. He's just got that raw strength. Um, Last year was a starter as well. Wasn't too bad. After that, Malachi Brayland from Memphis, 6'6", 345. He's huge. Chris Terek from Notre Dame, 6'8", 332. Javen Williams from Penn State is here as well. Sullivan Absher from ECU, 6'8", 323. Solatoa Moeai from Cal, 6'4", 347. And Julian Armella from UCLA, 6'6", 329. Zach Owens from Mississippi State, 6'6", 349. Like I said, this is a big guard class. It's not a good one, though. Guard is definitely the best position in this class, but like I said, it's just a dreadful offensive line group. The best center is Bryce Bolton from Oregon. Didn't give up a single sack last year. Then some higher upside guys that didn't play as well. DJ Chester from LSU, Zach Rice from Florida, and Seuseo Alofali-Tubi from Miami. And other than that, there's not really anybody to watch out for offensively. I think the top guys on offense that are going to go first are Dylan Raiola, Austin Mack, Micah Hudson, and Peyton Lewis. Like those guys, Micah Hudson, Peyton Lewis, and then Jordan Davidson. All those guys are going to be taken within the first half of the first round, especially Raiola, Mack, and Hudson will be taken within the top 5. I think Dante Moore, Tavian St. Clair, and Darian Mensah will find their way into the first round. Maybe the top 10. I could easily see Moore and maybe even St. Clair being in the top 10 of the draft. I think there will be, all 5 of those guys are probably gonna be first rounders, if not early second round picks, because they all deserve to have starting opportunities in the NFL somewhere down the line. I think Raiola and maybe Mack could start right away. Obviously, whoever gets Dylan Raiola is getting an insane, just insane prospect. You look at the number 1 quarterback prospects from the last 2 drafts. Draft class 1 had Carson Beck, who was the number 10 overall prospect in the draft. That doesn't hold a candle. Draft class 2 had DJ Lagway, who was the number 2 quarterback in the draft. He was very good, but he's not Dylan Raiola. And before that, you had Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, Kenny Pickett, and then Joe Burrow. So Dylan Raiola is on par with, and in my opinion, he's ahead of. He had a better season than Joe Burrow did in 2019. He's a little bit younger, and he's got better size than Joe Burrow. He had in his freshman year, he was getting a lot of buzz, a lot of attention because he was a Patrick Mahomes copycat. Now he could legitimately be the next Patrick Mahomes. I think that's where I'm going to leave this draft preview episode. I'll work on the defensive guys. And then probably the next time you'll see me is when Madden 26 drops. We will start playing Madden. I don't have Program Builder. Wait, I have Elite Recruiter unlocked though, don't I? Can't upgrade it though. All right, I'll see you guys later.